Well, I don't know how many people we've got on, but maybe we should think about getting started here. Stay on the timeline.
Yes, and I think we're going to start with a video. So if Lynn there we go. And that's why we don't use Zoom when we're doing our virtual broadcast events. That's why we use a studio and a producer. So we were supposed to have sound on that, but welcome everyone. It's nice to have everyone. We're thrilled, quite seriously, to have this many people participate, and our commitment to you, and we'll try to hold it, is to have you off by 4:30. So we'll run through lots of information here, and I'm going to turn things over to Su-Ling to start.
Hello, everyone. I think I know many of you here, but I'm Su-Ling Ching. I'm the President and CEO of the Ottawa Board of Trade, and very honored to have all of you here. And I just want to start by thanking Michael. We have been working in partnership with the Ottawa Business Journal to run Ottawa business events for the last 8 years, I would say successfully. And it's been an incredibly interesting time over the last couple of years. And Michael and our OBE team.
You're cutting out. Sorry, Su-Ling. Now we really do need Khaled, the producer.
Oh. My apologies. I'm going to keep it short, Michael, because I moved rooms because my internet is unstable.
Got it.
I'll do the best I can. So, how's that? Can you hear me?
That is 100% better. Thank you.
Okay. So sorry about that. So I just want to say thank you to Michael for his leadership over the last 8 years, and particularly the last couple, and our OB team, who you're going to meet as well. In terms of the Ottawa Board of Trade, as you know, our role in our fine city is to be an advocate for business and economic development. And so events are a really important part of that for us, because it helps us connect people to each other, to the various stakeholders and levels of government. It gives us an opportunity to share information and provide a platform for thought leadership, and an opportunity to recognize excellence in our community and provide inspiration. So that's why it's so important to us to run them, and we couldn't run them without all of you as sponsors and as partners. And so we just want to express our gratitude and appreciation for that. We know that you do get value out of being sponsors, and we work really hard to make sure that you do. But on another level, you are really part of contributing to the overall economic growth of our city as well. So I'll just leave it at that and turn it over to you, Michael.
Thank you. And from an Ottawa Business Journal, we just wanted to start off with a little bit of why we're doing events, and I think it's important to remind all of us, including ourselves, by the way, from an Ottawa Business Journal perspective, I think we have an important role in the community to keep people informed. And, we select these guest speakers very carefully, people that can pass along current information that's relevant to the local business community. I think another reason why OBJ is really taken events and poured so many resources into them over the years is because we feel that it's important for Ottawa Business Journal to build a sense of momentum in the local economy. So we know we're living in a big global economy. We want to make entrepreneurs and business leaders, business managers in our city excited about doing business here. So we want to maintain that sense of excitement, and we do that particularly through our awards events. We're going to run through a PowerPoint, but before we did that, I just wanted to introduce a few key people on the team. I think everybody knows these people, but Brittany, we'll go to you first. So Brittany's our senior planner. She's been with us for 6 years, studied at Algonquin College. But Britt, yeah, there you go, Claude. Yeah, yee-hee, another grad. In fact, by the way, Claude, we've consistently hired people from Algonquin from your events program. So they are the cream of the crop. But Britt, tell us why you're interested. What makes you passionate about events?
Hi, everyone. If I haven't met you already, nice to meet you. What makes me passionate about events? To be honest, event planning kind of followed me in my career from the start. I didn't realize it at the time that I wanted to be an event planner, but all my jobs end up involving event planning or large events in the city that I was a part of. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of realized that, oh my God, this is actually what I'm supposed to do. And as Mike said, took the Algonquin College program, fell more in love with it. And next thing you know, here I am 6 years later.
Thanks, Brett. And she's kind of the head of our logistics. So she plays a big role. This next gentleman also plays a big role. All of you, I suspect.
What's that? Oh, no, I don't need it.
Oh, we need someone to mute themselves there. So the next gentleman plays a big role in securing kind of our financial foundation to be able to produce all of this. And of course, I'm talking about Don Mercereau, our VP of Sponsorship. Don, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. I guess I'd like to start by just thanking everyone, not just for being here, but for being with us over the last couple of years. Back in the spring of 2020, we, like everybody else, were kind of unsure where things were going to go. And so myself and Mike and Sue Ling, we went out and we started to talk to the business community about should we even be involved in events, and the response was more than overwhelming. Everyone we talked to said, I don't know how you're going to do it, but do it. We need you. We want you to stay current. And so I don't like this term, but we did reinvent ourselves a bit, and we'll talk more about that, what that has turned into in a minute. But virtually all of our sponsors stuck with us, and I was so pleasantly surprised. So thank you to all of you who have been sponsors in the past, and welcome to anybody that's here today that has not yet been involved in sponsorship. You'll see a little bit about what our events look like. We will be sending out a PowerPoint with all the details after this event, sometime in the next day or two. So you'll have a chance to go through everything. But for now, that's all I really want to say. Just a heartfelt thank you, and let's plow forward into 2022.
Yeah, here. And I also wanted to point out Lynn from the Ottawa Board of Trade. She'll be playing an important role for us this year. She's acting as a liaison. I guess that's how you would say it, Sue Ling, a liaison between the Board of Trade. The Board of Trade has many significant initiatives relating back to its strategic plan. So Lynn will be the voice of the Board of Trade in our weekly planning meetings and the selection of guest speakers and setting agendas for events, so on and so forth. So Lynn, thank you for doing that. She's also helping us organize our finances a little bit. So I appreciate that, Lynn. Thanks very much.
My pleasure. It's lovely to see so many familiar faces, and I can't wait till we get back in person.
Yeah. And Cass, I don't want to forget about you. You don't have kind of a formal role to play with OBE, but I know you're there supporting us all the time. So thanks for doing that. We're going to bring a bit of a PowerPoint on screen. And Sue Ling, you can maybe handle the first, I think your audio issue is over, so you can handle the first few slides, and I'll advance when you'd like.
Sure. So, as Don said, we had to make some changes in 2020. I think we really found our flow in 2021, and we're able to have our in-person events where possible, and then also had several virtual events where we continue to bring high quality content and sponsorship opportunities to our business community. So next slide. So just a quick recap. One of our most popular events are our Mayor's Breakfast. We had a handful in person, and then many of them virtually, but really important and relevant keynote speakers and information brought through that opportunity. Like, next one is our, this is an annual event for us, the post-budget breakfast, where we talk about the implications of the federal funding, which of course has become so important, is always so important, but was really important during these last couple of years. So we were happy to be able to do that virtually as well. Next one, the City Building Summit. So we do run a series of summits. The City Building Summit was really well received last year. We had many there virtually almost all day, and then we had many views as well, and just talking about the future of the city. Next one, Michael. This one, the 40 under 40, of course, we're really interested in continuing to develop the young leadership in our city. And this was a broadcast that was very well received and highly reviewed, and really exciting for a lot of people in our business community. And then, of course, our best networking golf tournament, which we were able to do both years outside in person. And so we've had a sold out event as again the last couple of years for that. And I think people really appreciated the opportunity to be outside and be in person together. Our Ottawa Talent Summit, we ran in the fall. As we know, talent and access to talent has been one of the top business issues 7 years running, according to our Welch Business Growth Survey. And so we're able to bring some really important thought leadership with a keynote speaker from Deloitte and many local experts who gave advice and information to our business community. And we did run our CEO Talk series. This one was an in-person event, and we were able to support Kin Vineyards, which is a local winery and business. And we're able to recognize our CEO of the Year last year, John Sicard. And again, very well attended and well received. And of course, our signature event, our Best Ottawa Business Awards, typically a 800-person gala. We were able to do a broadcast both years, and then this year we were able to do an intimate reception hosted by Ross at 22 at the Westin, where we were able to bring together a small group, an intimate group of business leaders to recognize the award winners, followed by a broadcast, which was also well received. And finally, just in December, we hosted our annual Ottawa's Economic Outlook in person, had great keynote speakers, including our chief economist speaking. And this is Mary Rowe, who is the president and CEO of the Canadian Urban Institute, to talk about what our next steps are for rebuilding Ottawa's downtown.
Okay.
Michael,
We got you.
Parker and I are going to turn it over to you.
You got your dog excited about the events coming up. That's for sure. So I'll walk you through a little bit of our approach for 2022. Just before I do so, I wanted to point out, when I was looking at some of those photos, Suling, you know, it does really, it reminded me how much we had to, as Don said, evolve, right? So we have continued to evolve. We're in a very dynamic environment with public health regulations. But as you'll see, we are committed to coming back in person. But at the same time, we want to, and maybe that's the first point, keep the best of both worlds. So, you know, I would say if you went back pre-pandemic, you know, we had some video experience, but not a lot. And I would almost say, Suling sometimes jokes that she feels like we're a video production company these days. So we've acquired significant experience and made significant investments, tens of thousands of dollars, just in various categories, to make sure we can produce these events. And of course, the beauty of this is that it extends our audience, right? So even pre-pandemic, sometimes, you know, we'd experience a great guest speaker, and it was just, you know, so informed, so enthusiastic. And I would say, oh my God, this wasn't captured on tape. We, you know, only these 200 people in the room are experiencing this, and we really should be sharing it with a larger business community. So, you know, that's really what we've achieved thanks to the pandemic, a little bit of a silver lining. So our approach in 2022, subject to public health regulations, will be to do hybrid events whenever possible. We did start that in the fall, and we did it successfully. The Mayor's Breakfast, for example, several of you attended. We'd bring 50 to 75 people together, so a smaller group, keep them separated, masks on when people weren't eating. We did it in Jean Piggott Hall to make sure there was really good air circulation. So we will continue to bring people together in person in 2022, but keep a virtual element of that. And I think there's a real benefit to that for sponsors from an ROI and good transition to this screen. So we've done some meticulous counting, and it's hard, when you're doing virtual events across so many social media platforms, from YouTube to Facebook to Twitter. Sometimes using our StreamYard virtual studio, but we've gone through, and Britt's helped with this, and Don has as well. And the number we come to is 49,422 views in 2021. So we had a big audience. Just to compare that, we used to think pre-pandemic, by the way, that we had about 8,000 people that would attend in person. So in that sense, it's a really significant audience. Some of the noteworthy broadcasts here, the Mayor's Breakfast series, we're broadcasting on the Mayor's Facebook page that gets a lot of attention. 40 Under 40, key point here that we brought on board Rogers, PBS as well. That one might surprise you. So we bumped in at one point to the general manager of WPBS in Watertown, who happens to be a Canadian, by the way. And he's in Ottawa fairly often. And he approached us a few years ago and said, can we be working together? And I said, I don't know how we would work together. Well, guess what? They're rebroadcasting, in this case, 40 Under 40 The Bob. So if you're sitting there saying you don't get it, why are we on PBS? Here's the secret about PBS. It's a standard station on all cable packages, which means they literally reach hundreds of thousands of homes across Eastern Ontario. So when we're rebroadcasting there, we've got a mass audience. And I don't want to forget, by the way, about Rogers. They've been so good to us. But the point here, again, is digital means bigger reach. Of course, whoops, I missed that. Bigger reach for our audience. And we're continuing to use kind of the marketing muscle, as we're saying here, 60,000 social media followers between both organizations, 5,000 in climbing, email news subscriber, and some local marketing partnerships. Really, one of the messages we want to leave you with too is that we are committed to delivering value for sponsors, and that is maybe it's overstating and saying an obsession, but it is on top of our minds. We're always questioning whether we're delivering good value to everyone. So schedule calendar events for 2022. We put some of them on the screen here, and we'll be sending out a document with our full sponsorship deck in the next few hours or tomorrow. So some noteworthy events coming up. The Mayor's Breakfast series is scheduled to have 8 this year. We just completed one virtually. Again, we want to be back in person as soon as possible. 40 Under 40 is going to have a big year because it's the 25th annual celebration for 40 Under 40, which is just a remarkable milestone in 2 different ways. One, to think that this will be 1,000 recipients. When we named them in late April, imagine 1,000 people, young entrepreneurs, getting that award. And just to think a city the size of Ottawa can generate that many consistently good entrepreneurs is quite something. And we've got a Best Auto Business Award lined up there. A couple quick slides, and then we'll take some questions. Why sponsorship works, and as you know, both at the Board of Trade and OBJ, we do a lot of research into marketing, and we have people rolling out programs all the time. I think sponsorships are great because they can be engaging. Marketing, think of it like a TV commercial or a radio commercial. It often interrupts what you're doing, and one of the beautiful aspects of sponsorship is that it engages people, right? So it's not a form of marketing that is seeking to interrupt people. Our events particularly are focused in business, but within that business niche, we have many sub niches that we can allow you to target, all right? Whether that's City Building Summit, for example, the Talent Summit, Young Entrepreneurs through 40 Under 40, the Bobs, so on and so forth. It's a good way to build your brand. So as we're indicating here, it helps lift your brands, and it helps create that affinity and loyalty to your brand. And as well, sponsorships, if deployed to their optimized extent, they can give you an ROI through either relationships that you're forming or so on and so forth. So what we're asking you to do is consider reaching out to Don Mercereau, who you heard for earlier, and Brittany Mayer here. And I'll stop sharing at this point, and I'll see if anyone has any questions. So again, we have a full deck that can go out to you with all of the events, all of the pricing, so on and so forth. But any general comments?
If I
Michael,
may, sorry.
Hi, Lise.
Hi, Greg.
Let me say quickly that we've been associated with 40 on the 40 for almost 19 years now.
Yes.
And it's been really terrific for us. So everything you said on the slide, I can vouch for that. It's true.
Yeah. It's, Greg, we have a really special relationship. I've said to you many times before, and the EMBA program is an interesting example of that, because it's actually one of the sponsors. There are other examples where we can literally trace a recipient and someone that's gone into the executive MBA program. So, there's a really direct relationship between, their award sponsorship and actually recruiting some young business minds into the program. And we're just like so thrilled by that. Thanks, Greg. I should note out too, Greg, I remember in the height of the crisis, by the way, Don, you'll remember this, in May 2020, when we had shut down our events company and weren't sure what to do, one of the first calls we made was to Greg. And it was after we had some internal discussions and said, should we do 40 under 40 again? And we came to the conclusion that that's what the city needed, right? We needed a little bit of optimism. We needed to understand that, yes, we're in a health and economic crisis, but we need to still maintain a sense that that there's a next generation of entrepreneurs who are going to keep a strong and vibrant community. So Greg was one of the people that said, yes, do it. So I'll always remember that.
Michael, Jeff Snyder here. As a sponsor of the Mayor's Breakfast, I got to say I was pretty skeptical about the idea of the networking online. But Dawn gave me a call and said, Jeff, works really well, give it a shot. So I participated all year, and obviously I still prefer the in-person, and I know we're all doing our best to do the in-person, but just kudos to all you guys at OBE and OBOT for creating really great online experiences. It certainly changed my mind about them, and thanks, good job.
Thanks, Jeff, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I remember that call, Jeff, and you did take a little arm twisting, but I'm glad you did try it. And that's one of the things that people always ask me, what are the constants for your events? And the number one thing is networking. Everything we do has a networking component any way that we can. And that's the thing that most of our participants comment on, and our sponsors as well. We want to connect business to business. We want you to get to meet new people and forge new relationships. And we're committed to doing that forever.
Oh, sorry, we're missing that too. So again, I just want to reiterate that we're keen. We think we can be back to in-person events in the next, hopefully 30 to 60 days, and we'll do so safely. But again, just to make sure we'll maintain that virtual and hybrid approach.
Lise has her hand up, Michael.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Lise.
Hi.
Now
Nice
from
to
the
be-
Casino de la Colini,
Yes.
which will be a venue. Fingers crossed, Lise. We're going there.
That was exactly my question, and then you kind of answered. So, but I do want to say that I've always been a big fan of the Ottawa Board of Trade, and your content is amazing. OBE's content, I still read every day on OBE, OBJ, and I'm still a big fan of. I don't want to say Suling, but the whole team. So content is fabulous, and I think. We as individuals will also want to go back to experiencing. And of course, as you know, the casino is all about experience. But I do think that we'll have to look at our meetings and events in a different way where, we want to motivate our team and want to motivate people, talking to each other and going back to living. So it'll be a brand new day for sure. And I'm definitely happy to be part of it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Lise. And if you didn't catch that yet, so Lise, of course, was with the Regroupement des Gens d'Affaires for many years, the RGA, and she's now working at the Casino Lac Lémy in a important role there, and we'll certainly be using that and many others as one of our venues. And I agree, Lise, too, that events need to change, right? I mean, this is why we've found event video producers, why my graphic design team are half video editors now instead of print designers, and they've undergone all of these changes and that type of things. But I think it's exciting. Listen, I'm not suggesting it wasn't a challenge, but I think this is really exciting, and we want to get back to events, but we want to maintain that virtual outreach too.
Catherine? I think
Hi,
Catherine-
gang. I just wanted to comment. I unfortunately missed the virtual mayor's breakfast, but I wanted to comment. I know everybody's very anxious to see each other in person, but I really enjoyed the virtual stuff. It was convenient. We had so much time to be able to speak to one another, had some great conversations. They weren't like 200 people, and that was a good thing. So I'm all for the virtual events as well.
Excellent, especially when it's minus 25 and snowy outside. But seriously, right, Catherine, your point is that maybe pre-pandemic you would have gone to a few of them, and now maybe you can go to all of them, because we do tend to have some great speakers. Of course, we just had President of Treasury Board, Mona Fortier. But we are lining up some really significant speakers, and we want to make the most of those opportunities and make sure people are informed by these great guest speakers.
Yeah, one of the greatest ones that I was at was the one that Jared did with the virtual meeting room.
Yes,
and it was networking, and so you had all of that time to chat with people and develop relationships and learn about their business, like really learn about their business, and have an opportunity to speak about yours. So not even like with the speakers, just virtual events were
great point.
Those were great.
As what Jeff was saying too, right? Connecting. So listen, we're into overtime. So if you need to go, please go. We'll before you go, let me just say thank you. I'm sure Suling echoes me. Thank you, because there is no OBE without our sponsors. We don't do any of this. We can't hire our video producers and work with Rogers and PBS and all this type of stuff. It's your investment, and we hope there's a really strong ROI. I want to emphasize that makes this possible. So if you have to go, but we're going to stick around and take some questions. Don, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that one of the things that I think is important to note here is that we're not trying to make a virtual event a live event. They're different in many ways. There's pluses and minuses for both, but we're trying to make sure that the experience of a virtual event is a plus to a live event. And so there's as Catherine just said, there's lots of people who like one over the other, or who find one more convenient than the other. We want to do both. Let's call it a third. A third type of event, the hybrid. And so that's really the vision for us going forward, is to provide constant value with an experience that people will get behind.
I'll just to add, Don, you will remember this. So kudos to my business partner, Mark Sutcliffe, who's worked in a broadcast, both radio and TV. But that was one of the first things he said into the pandemic. He said, we need to really appreciate that live in-person events are in person. They have their own strengths, and TV, which is often what we're trying to do, has its own strength. So he said, don't set up a TV camera in a ballroom and think that that's going to be TV, because it's going to be really bad TV. So, you know, we kind of embraced that early on and said, oh my God, right? TV works for a reason, in-person works for a reason. You got to acknowledge both of them, and don't just say that, you know, you can mimic a live event in an empty ballroom with TV cameras. That's not good TV. So it is a good point, Don, right? It's a little bit of sophistication in our approach that we've developed, thankfully. Any other questions? Or Suling, any thoughts as we wrap this up?
No, I saw Bruce on here earlier, and I just wanted to say we're getting ready for our annual business growth survey, which is sponsored by Welch, of course. And I just wanted to talk about, you know, it's not just it's using the events as a platform for really important information. And one thing that we've identified through the last couple of years is that we have a health crisis, we have an economic crisis, but we have a data crisis as well. And so, you know, it's just another example of a really important, of something really important in our community that we've been able to do through OBE as well. So, and our sponsors.
Well said.
Make one last point, which is, don't wait for me to call you. Send me an email if you're interested in anything. You want to connect. I'm going to try and reach out to everybody. I will be sending out that PowerPoint within the next 24 hours, likely. But feel free. You know how to get me.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for attending, guys. We really appreciate the support, and don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll get that sponsorship kit to you in the next few hours or tomorrow.
And next year's sponsor appreciation will be in person.
Yes.
Yes.
With food and drink.
With food. Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So who's sharing screen still?
It's down there. There you go.
And then can we turn off the recording as well?